Alright, so first things first, let's talk about things a little bit. Don't worry, I'm gonna finish up Katawa Shoujo. I only took a little bit of a break from it because it was starting to work great on my nerves. As for currently our, Shrouded Isle, well, we're going to try to win a game. And then we'll probably stop playing it. Though those rounds can take a little while. But that's enough administrative notes. It's me, your friend, your beloved Wampa. And let's record an episode of Katawa Shoujo. Once again, I find myself in front of Hanako's door after another of her unexplained absences from class. Hanako, you gotta go to class, girl. Nothing. Considering this is the second day in a row she's been like this, I'm starting to worry. Summoning my willpower, I decide one last way to get her to respond. Hanako, if you don't say anything, I'll go get the nurse for you. Go away. What? What? It's hard to tell whether or not her tones of depression, anger, or both. What in the world can I actually do to help her if she doesn't even want help? The message is clear enough. I can't just leave her like this, though. Just sitting in her room for days on end. Rubbing my temples in thought, I'd withdraw to my own room to think about how to proceed. Rationality is what's needed here, as an overreaction may just make matters worse. I dig around drawer after drawer of my desk, looking for where I put that damn piece of paper. Before she left, Lilly told me the number to call her on while in Scotland. I wrote it down. Now that I need it, though, the damn thing is here. I probably should have just entered it into my cell phone, come to think of it. Without further ado, I enter the numbers, anxiously press the call button. The fact that the phone rings at all shows that I got the prefix for a call to Scotland. Right, at least. I've never made an international call before, so that's some comfort. Eventually the phone picks up, a feminine voice I don't recognize on the other end. It's probably Lily's mother. Satal. English? Suddenly finding myself unprepared, I realize I can't understand a word she says either due to my limited vocabulary or her heavy accent. I should have anticipated this, since according to Lilly, her mother is a native Scot. I soldier on in the hope that she must know some Japanese, considering it's her daughter's native language. It's Hisa Nakai speaking? An enthusiastic sound of realization can be heard as she recognizes the language. My feeling of relief is immense. Oh, you must be one of Lily's classmates from school, correct? I don't know a Scotch accent, so we're just gonna do that. Even so, her accent means I have to concentrate to work out what she's saying. Good job, Satal. How dare you try to speak a second language? Yes, that's right. Pleased to speak to you, Mrs. Satal. It's so nice to find someone so polite. Lily, dear, it's for you. Her mother seems nice, if a little over-enthusiastic, given her mundane situation. There's a small silence as Lily takes her time getting to the phone. In the distance, I can just make out her mother scolding her playfully for just getting up. Hello, Lily speaking. You sound awful. She makes a sound somewhere between a dying animal and a yawn. The one thing I did remember to check before calling was the time zone. It'd be pretty late in the morning over there, so she really has no excuse. Not feeling well? Just tired. What time is it there? Late afternoon. School finished for the day not long ago. You're really not a morning person, are you? I don't need you making fun of it as well. It takes me a measure of restraint not to laugh at her pain groaned. Poor girl. How are you doing over there, then? Bar the mornings, of course. It's been enjoyable. After not meeting them for so long, just having a meal with my parents is nice. Though the pool and the sheer size of their house might have something to do with that as well. When you're blind in a pool, it's always Marco Polo. Even if they're not in Japan, from the way it sounds, her family must be pretty wealthy to live so luxuriously. Are things alright with you and Hanako? Damn, I was hoping that wouldn't be brought up so quickly. I take a moment to try and sort out exactly how to describe the situation without causing her undue worry, but she picks up on that without a single word being said. Hanako's not well, is she? How did you know? Because today is her birthday. I'd hoped she might have gotten at least a little better after coming to know you, but... How is she right now? She missed school yesterday and seemed out of sorts when I checked up on her. Today she missed school again and just told me to go away. I've really got no idea what to make of it. Has this happened in the past? Is it related to her scarring in some way? Unfortunately so. Roughly the same thing happened last year when her birthday came up. As far as I can tell, it's because her parents died in an accident that caused her scarring, and Hanako blames herself for the deaths. It was a freak birthday candle accident. What she says does seem to make sense. If she's blaming herself on her birthday, she may well be ruining that she was the day she was born. That she was ever born, rather. The fact that Lily seems so in the dark about it, though, almost to the extent that I am, is a surprise. So, that's why she lives in the student dormitories as well. Has she told you any more about the accident? As close as we've come, she's barely told me anything about what happened. What I know about it is largely conjecture. Oh wait, is conjecture. Conjuncture. She sounds depressed, almost deflated. Considering the trauma Hanako must have gone through, I really can't fault Lily for not knowing. Nevertheless, she still seems to consider it a personal failing. Don't blame yourself, Lily. With everything she's gone through, I know. Thank you, Hisao. I'm sorry I can't be more help to you. It's fine. I'll just give it some more thought. Thanks, and have a good time in Scotland. It's nothing. Thank you for taking care of Hanako. Okay, bye. Goodbye. And with that, the line goes silent. Amid the seemingly only increased number of questions I can't answer. The most immediate of what Lily was going to say. Oh no, I'm an idiot. She must have thought that I was calling to talk to her, but I only asked for help with Hanako. Even more shameful than I thought than that thought is the fact that such an appraisal would be largely correct. Well, first things first, for now. I need to at least sort out Hanako and make sure that she's actually eating okay. Yeah, bring her like a burger or something. I don't know if like Japanese people eat burgers, but I'm sure they wouldn't not eat a burger. The occasional passing students give badly hidden glances at the plate of food I carry to the female dormitories. It's hardly a meal to be proud of, only being an instant microwave meal from the convenience store, but it should at least fill her up. Yeah, don't worry, you're not Gordon Ramsay. He's Sal. You're doing your best. Eventually, I arrive outside of her room. After having to ward off a couple of girls who jokingly try to pilfer the food that I've taken so long to procure, I decide to forego knocking since it was proven to be an utterly useless measure and it's somewhat difficult to do with my hands full. Hanako, it's Hisao. I know you're listening. I got some food for you. Silence, as I expected. I'll leave beside your door. Please eat it, okay? There, I've said my piece. Now it's up to her. Putting the plate down, I walk back to my own room to eat my dinner. By the time I returned to Hanako's dormitory, a good hour's passed. Thankfully, there isn't anything to be seen beside the door. I walk back at least somewhat happier to know that she's eating, or at least taking food from the hallway and throwing it away. If she intends to get through this by herself, then being able to help, even if it's just in such a small way, is at least something. I've heard it described that, like, depression is feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders and kind of like this catastrophization that like nothing matters and the world doesn't matter. But then the person telling me that story said that they were told, yes, but the question was, what would you like for breakfast? So, you know, trust me, it's... Maybe that doesn't make a lot of sense. Maybe I'll post this in the... No, I'm not going to do that. But maybe it doesn't make sense, but making sure that you... that a depressed person at least gets to eat properly, even if it's kind of like not great food, is important. Just trust me. Just do it. Why aren't you trusting me? I sit reading in the library after school, turning page after page, barely registering the words written on each out of sheer boredom, with my cheek resting in my hand. I can't help but notice the slightly rough feeling against my palm. It won't be long yet before I'll need to get a razor. Giving up on reading, I simply let my head drop onto the floor in front of me. Things have quieted down since Hanako began attending school again. When she first returned to class, nothing was said nor done that wasn't part of her usual routine, and it's been that way since. Neither of us desired to bring up the accident, so there's simply no point in pursuing it. Thus a few days went by, the daily grind continuing just as it had before. It's only natural that my mind would wander to other places, more importantly other people. That lily-shaped hole in my heart, in our heart, Hanako and I, has been pretty noticeable. I'd be pleased to say that this has allowed me time to refine my thoughts on what my thoughts on her exactly are, but alas, I have no such luck. It's called love, you idiot. It doesn't help that many attempts to do so have led to the troublesome topic of Iwanako. Every time my thoughts drift into that direction, I reflexively try to think about something else. Why did this have to happen now? I return and look to the source of the tentative voice coming from behind me. Ah, sorry, I didn't mean to disturb anyone. That's not it. I glance around the orange-tinted rooms, quickly realizing how silly my apology must have sounded in the time I've spent thinking and lazing about in here. Everyone's well and truly left. Library closing? If you don't want to go, I could keep it open a little longer. It's no trouble at all. Don't worry, I should get going anyways. Thanks. As I get up and begin to move off, I feel Yuko's eyes drilling into my back. Is something wrong? You look depressed. Are you okay? Oh, that's nice, Yuko. Nervously twists her fingers as she says this, unsure whether she's overstepping her boundaries or not. I really can't tell if she's worried about my mood or about bothering me? Normally, I just shrug it off and assure her that I'm fine, but my reflective mood gets the better of me. Despite her being staff, she doesn't really feel as much like an authority figure as the others. It's just, I guess the best term for it would be relationship problems. Oh, I'm not too good with that type of thing. My only relationship ended a bit abruptly. But if you want to talk about it, I mean, I could listen, I think. Now, I feel kind of bad for bringing it up. She's not that old, though, so at least she's got a good chance of finding another partner. It isn't like we're in a bad situation right now. We have spent many days together as friends, sometimes going out and doing stuff, that kind of thing. But I'm starting to want to do it more for her, learn more about her, and be with her more. I'm just not sure if it's actually love or not, and our friendship as it stands is enjoyable. You shouldn't let that stop you. Sorry. How do I say this? I think that it's nice that you have a good friendship, but school's going to eventually end. Do you think you'll be fine with not knowing if it could have gone further after you've graduated? I guess that's the crux of the problem. I really have no idea what the answer to that question is. Well, I can't really help there. What your true feelings are is something you have to decide for yourself. But I think that if you do love her, you should definitely say something. After thinking about it really hard, I decided that even though my relationship didn't work out, it's still better than never knowing if it might have worked or not. I never expected Yuko to sound so wise. Wow. Damn. Brutal, Hisao. It only makes sense that with more life experience than she'd have a better idea about this. When I suppose not very much was actually answered, talking to her has helped get it off my chest. And I have no doubt that I should confess if I really do like Lilly. I give a slight frustrated sigh. If only reading so much actually helped when it came to situations like this. She gives a small girlish giggle, which only reinforces my view of her as being different from the usual staff here. In the end, it all comes down to what will happen after school finishes once again. Considering what happened before I came to Yamaku, it feels like being asked to keep up with a field of runners despite only having started from a dozen yards behind them. It's just one more motive to move on from the past. The last thing I need right now is to get too caught up in that and getting homesick while I'm at it. Once again, I find myself calling Lilly. The phone bill is going to be horrific considering this is international. Oh yeah! But it's worth it. I don't only want to smooth over her feelings from the last time I called. I genuinely want to talk to her again. When the phone finally picks up, I easily recognize the voice on the other end. Satao. Hello, Mrs. Satao. May I speak? Damn, I forgot how the rest is supposed to go. It's not encouraging to forget such a small amount of words, even if I didn't spend that long trying to memorize them. May I speak with Lilly, please? Hello again, Hisao. Are you teaching yourself English? Just a little. I don't think I'm too good at languages in general. Oh, don't say that. Your pronunciation was good. I'll get Lilly for you. Just wait a moment. I obediently wait as she goes off in search of Lilly, the other end going silent. Eventually, a much more awake-sounding Lilly than last time answers, the time over there being past noon by now. Hisao, are you there? Yeah, I'm here. Hi. Good afternoon. Sorry for taking so long. I was outside in the garden. Gardening? Unfortunately, I found I'm no good at it. I just smell the flowers. I think my fingers appreciate it more. I take it Hanako's recovered a bit? Yeah, I just made sure she was eating, and eventually she righted herself. Thanks for the help the other day. I don't think I was really that much help. The main thing is that she's better, though. True. How's life over there, then? Sounds like you've been living in nothing short of a mansion. I wouldn't call it a mansion, but it is rather large, is obviously what she wants to say, though modesty stops her. I'm a little envious, but it is her holiday. It's a nice house to stay in, though. There's a beach near here, too, which Akira's especially fond of. She's a swimmer? She's constantly dragging me there to have swimming competitions, which she wins every time. Lilly doesn't strike me as very athletic at all, so not being adept at swimming seems logical enough. The fastest I've ever seen her move is her understandably relaxed pace during her walks to and from the suburbs down the hill from the school. It makes the image of her swimming hard to imagine. The beaches there must look nice. They'd be less crowded than the ones around here, at least. Indeed. Akira says the area around here looks beautiful because it's so far outside the city. I only realize what I've said after I say it, commenting on the aesthetic pleasingness to a blind girl. But it doesn't bother her at all. It's still easy to forget that she can't see when she's not around, despite the time we've been friends. That said, the local accent makes communication a bit hard. It's a constant reminder that this isn't home. While the fact that she doesn't consider her parents' residence to be her home makes good sense, it makes me realize that I can't really answer whether the same goes for me. Graduation from Yamaku is distant enough to be difficult to view objectively, and I've spent so much time in this small room I've come to accept the dormitory as my new home surprisingly quickly. I guess that would be hard to deal with. Is your knowledge of English holding up? Thankfully, I may be fluent, but being in a position where I have to use it often helps in curbing my Japanese accent, so it's been useful practice. I hear you're trying to teach yourself English. More like memorizing a few lines and failing at even that much. I'm really not cut out for learning another language. Oh, Hisao, don't sell yourself short. It's hard. Especially when you're going from, like, something that's as different as Japanese to English. I'm doing kind of the reverse. As we all know, my favorite viewer is Chinese, and I'm bad at speaking Chinese. I'm learning a very little, but it's hard. Especially, and I mean, I have some basis in other languages. I speak rudimentary Spanish and know a little bit of Koine. I believe that there are things one chooses to do in life, and also things that are chosen for one to do in life. You can take comfort in the fact that you're better than me in science and math, at least. all that's helped is making me Muto's star student. I wouldn't worry about it. They're useful skills for many jobs, right? That's what he tells me. His face veritably lit up when I said I'll probably go into a career involving either. We both share a warm laugh at the events that have befallen each other on opposite ends of the world. It's nice and reminds me of our simple small talk that I've been missing since she left. As each of us waits for the other to begin speaking, I decide to push ahead with my feelings. I can feel my throat tightening slightly. I miss you. The silence on the other end of the phone tells me she's given the words their due weight. But as it goes on, I can't help but feeling more and more apprehensive. Thankfully, the silence ends almost as quickly as it began. I miss you too, Hisao. Goodbye. Goodbye, Lilly. Once again, the phone is hung up simply and without further ado. I never really got the whole being so guarded with your feelings. I don't want to be that guarded. I'm guarded with my feelings, but not that much. That light, tentative, almost shy voice, her warm and soft tone. I'd simply be lying to myself if I were to say that I didn't recognize this feeling for what it is. With the thoughts of Lilly dancing on my mind and I start anticipating her return, today has been a most excellent day. Excellent, radical, diddly-diddly-diddly-diddly-doo. Yo, Lilly, let me smash. There will be no smashing on this channel. I sit listening to another of Muto's long-winded lectures, my mind wandering far from the scribbles on the dirty blackboard. Since I called Lilly, my mind's been drawn in two different directions, both roughly led to the same conclusion. I've started to feel oddly detached from my past life. It's only been a month and a half. Dang, that's pretty quick. I arrived here, yet this school's become a second home. I've gained new friends and contacts, managed to get to grips with my school's lifestyle and culture, and become accustomed to the quirks of my classmates, especially Kenji. To become used to a school where disabilities are the norm, rather than the rare exception, still catches me off guard sometimes when I think on it. The same school that's populated by burn victims, amputees, the blind, the deaf, and all manner of disabilities in between. If someone had described this school to me before I'd come, I'd have shrugged it off as an overactive imagination. Even when I first arrived, I felt like the Dutch coming to this strange new land for the first time. It's amazing how quickly one becomes used to the environment they're forced to live in, really. And now I've even found someone that's got me entirely smitten. What a strange life. Before my mind can wander any further, I find a page of lined paper slipped under my distracted face. The garish bright pink ink has been no doubt pinned by Misha. Don't look so bored, Hee-chan. School's nearly over. 3-day holiday. What up? Oh, right. We get Saturday and Monday off. Can't complain about having less school, I suppose. I uncap my pen and scribble on the page before covertly passing it to her, flicking my eyes to the front of the class every now and then. Muto continues scrolling away arcane equations and formulas on the board. I'm guessing you have something planned? Misha takes the paper back and hunches over it comically, even for her, with her tongue poking out the side of her mouth. Did she misinterpret my expression as depressed, and she's really trying to cheer me up? Student council work with Shi-chan, of course. You're not still brooding over that, Shirley. Don't call me Shirley. But Hee-chan could have helped poor lonely girls all alone with a big Hee-chan to help us. I'd lend you a hand for today if I weren't going to be busy. Oh, naughty boy. Naughty Hee-chan. Naughty, naughty Hee-chan. I'm just going to meet Lilly with Hanako. I don't know what you've got going through your head. So Lily's back? Yeah, she's coming on the evening flight with her sister, so she'll be back in school next week. As she takes the note back and begins to write, I look up to see an unwelcome sight. Uh-oh. While I frantically try to silently catch Misha's attention, Muto confidently strides through the gap between the desks, and from the front of the class, his intent gaze focused directly on her. She suddenly stops writing as his tall figure casts an impossibly long shadow over the page. He silently takes the piece of paper from her and begins to read. Sweating bullets, I quickly glance around the class, noting their complete silence. Of course, it would have to be the one thing that actually gets their attention during the lesson. After a few scant seconds of examining the page, he rolls up the paper into a small cube and lightly bops Misha over the head with it. Half an hour until you can hop off to the student council. I think you can hold on until then. Misha's face cracks as the entire class erupts into laughter. He might be awkward, but he knows how to handle her excellently. I'd probably feel sorry for her if I wasn't busy stifling my own laughter. Oh hey, we're at the airport. Hisao, is that one it? No, I think that's some foreign airline. And so the third aircraft they're not on comes into land. For the past hour, I've been whiling away with small snippets of pointless chatter. Lilly and Akira's flight has been delayed, and at this rate, it'll probably be dark before their plane arrives. Is that one it? No, the company colors are wrong. Hanko's eyes flutter left and right, following the trickle of people in and out of the huge glass door in front of us. Fortunately, nobody pays her much heed, their attention apparently directed towards the greater things. Maybe that one is it. No, I think that's... Hold on a minute. I think that one might be it, after all. It still takes some more time before the billboard changes their flight status to disembarking. A loud yawn sneaks up on me, not allowing enough time to stifle it. My sleep patterns have once again been all over the place, likely due to a mix of worrying about Hanako and the side effects of my medications. Hisao, over there. I look to Hanako, then follow her gaze to the airport. Oh, Lilly, they're here! Really? We all call out to each other in greeting, quickly shuffling over to the side to avoid blocking the passage of others. Lilly! Hanako jumps forward to hug Lilly with a wide smile on her face, being all that's needed to see her happiness at Lily's return. Lilly simply smiles in return, her voice soft. It's wonderful to meet you again, Hanako. Meet you again. Probably see you again would be a little bit better. As the two give each other a long hug, well deserved after all that's happened while she was gone, I turn to Akira. Yo! You're pretty late. Yeah, there was a pretty bad storm over the airport. We got drenched just going from the car to the door. I guess you'll appreciate the weather here, then. Welcome back to you too, Lilly. Hanako breaks off from Lilly as I speak. For a long time, neither of us says a word. Contrary to what I'd think her homecoming would be like, this atmosphere feels awkward, almost stifling. Both of us try to guess each other's feelings, not quite sure about what should be said. Damn, this is exactly what I feared. I thought of trying to move things forward between us. Lilly runs her hand through her fair hair and awkwardly twirls one of her oh, dude, if she's playing with her hair nervously, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. Trust me, Hisao. Clearly trying to think of how to best react. Eventually, thankfully, Lilly gives a small sigh and breaks the silence. Thank you, Hisao. It's nice to be back. Are you okay? You look tired. Evidently not recollecting herself all that well, she quickly waves her hand in front of her face to stave off any concern Hanako may have over her. I'm okay, really. It's just a bit of jet lag. Weak! You don't have any? She simply gives a big grin, puffing out her modest chest. I feel absolutely fine. That's not fair. Oh well, you shouldn't take too long to get rid of it. It's only, like, probably a 20+ hour flight. I don't know how long it takes to get from Scotland to Japan, but I do know it takes a long time to get from Beijing to Chicago. Oh, that's right. Hisao? Yeah? Don't we have a holiday from school soon? I'd have forgotten if Misha hadn't reminded me this morning. We have a 3-day holiday, a 3-day weekend starting from tomorrow. Akira playfully bumps her elbow into Lily's side, grinning. Told you wouldn't miss it. You have something planned? If neither you nor Hanako are busy, I've got no plans, so something to do would be appreciated. Hanako? No, nothing. That's good. I was thinking we could go to my family's summer house for a bit of quiet over the break. We've rarely used it recently though, so we'd have to dust things off a little while we're there. Oh, where is it? Up north in Hokkaido. The place is practically deserted, so it should be a nice quiet break for you guys. You're not coming? Nah. Got a little holiday of my own set up with my boyfriend. I lower my eyes at her, suspicious of her intentions. It sounds like we're cleaning up the summer house for you. That's perhaps a valid conclusion. Both of us zero in on Akira, who her face somewhat evasive. Looks like we're right. That's just a convenient bonus. Really, me and the guy left it in pretty good condition last we were there, I promise. Now then, I'm out of here. Already, Akira? She quickly turns and walks away, her hand held high. See you in a few days, guys! Lily and I can only sigh at her hasty retreat. It does sound like it would be a nice place to go. Lily gives an enthusiastic nod, carrying her bag in one hand and placing her other on Hanako's shoulder for guidance as we begin to make our way out to the taxi area. After the fracas of the past few days, spending a weekend in the country alone with her and Hanako sounds like a dream. The more I think about it, the more sure I am. This will be the right time and place to confess my feelings to her. Just say, yo Lily, you so fine, you blow my mind, hey Lily. The morning chill wraps itself around my shivering body. I huff into my cupped hands to desperately try and stave off the cold as we mill about on the station platform. Lily's clothing looks rather ill-suited for the temperature around us. I can only hope it's indicative of what she expects the weather to be at our destination. Damn it, Lily. Why'd we have to get here so early? Unfortunately, the train is scheduled against us. The next train to Hokkaido is at 2 in the afternoon. Great. Just great. I pause a moment to wipe some sleep out of my eyes, and Lily promptly takes advantage of the opening. Cheer up, Hisao. Once we get there, it'll be much warmer. Why not just take the bullet train? A normal train's gonna take hours to get us there. So we might as well take the Shinkansen line as far north as it goes and just switch at the end. There's a certain charm to older trains, wouldn't you agree? I'd agree if it weren't freezing in the morning cold because we decided to take one. I'm sorry, Hisao. Sorry for what? I was the one who suggested taking a normal train. Way to make me feel guilty. All I can do is sigh and cover my face with my hand. That's fine. It's fine, I'm just grumbling. My, Hanako, you needn't blame yourself. Even without your suggestion, I still have opted for the same thing. Thankful for the quick interception from Lily, I take a quick gander around the station. Aside from us, the train's platform is all but deserted, the morning dew settling on the empty benches. I guess no one else was masochistic enough to brave the early morning. Though if someone was, they'd more than notice the huge bags both Lilly and Hanako brought with them. Just what did you pack into those things anyway? It's like a 3-day trip. The bags? She pauses a moment and tilts her head in thought. A change of clothing, raincoat, underwear, sleepwear, a number of books. I think that's most of it. You make it sound as if I'm unprepared. You brought less? Underwear and a pack of cards. That's it. And my pills, but never mind that. No pajamas? Damn, I know I forgot something. Wait, you don't have a change of clothes? Come on, Hisao. At least one change of clothes. No, 2 changes of clothes. There'd be clothes for you could use there. Akira still occasionally goes there after all, and I think some of our parents' clothing is still in storage. I don't think there'll be any problem with you borrowing a set of pajamas if need be. Thanks. I don't mind sleeping in my normal clothing. For 2 days? Good point. Not really. Though 2 days would be borderline. That's over borderline for me. It's more that looking even a little like a slob would be unacceptable while in the presence of 2 beautiful women. As we leisurely talk on the station platform, an announcement sounds from the loudspeakers, loudly heralding our ride's arrival. Looking past Lilly and Hanako, though, the train's still well out of sight. A quick check of my watch is enough to see that it's the one we'll be taking. The 5:30 train was ours, right? Correct. Either of you want me to take your bags? Mine's not exactly heavy. My, that's very gentlemanly of you, Hisao. Don't accept too reluctantly now. As I bend down to pick up Lily's large bag, I look up to see Hanako picking up hers. You fine with that? A silent nod's the only answer. I'm starting to get the feeling that by the trip's end, I'll be able to count every sentence she said on one hand. Ooh. Playing cards against Hanako, I see. With the morning landscape passing by the window, and the occasional rattle of the train bumping the carriage around, I try to focus my attention on the aging playing cards held in my hands. I'll raise you 5. She scrunches up her face and leans over to Lilly conspiratorially, the two exchanging a few whispered words. Considering how often this has happened so far, I'm coming to doubt Hanako's grasp of how to play poker. It doesn't seem to disturb Lilly's reading, though, her hands fitting over each page with only occasional corrections to account for the train's bumping and rocking. My collection of chess pieces that we're using as chips is steadily growing anyways, so it doesn't really bother me. Looking around us, our carriage is almost as empty as the station platform we waited for on the train itself. Only a handful of people can be seen, looking mostly like tourists and couples on holiday. Hola. While the two continue to their less than clandestine strategizing, a small boy looks over the seat and stares at me, hoping he doesn't stare at Hanako. I simply give him a smile and a wave. Thankfully, he retreats back to his seat after finding me far too boring to waste his attention on. I'll see you and raise another 5. Damn, you got me, I fold. I've been bluffing and she's caught me. Hanging my head, I push over a large portion of my winnings. Hanako looks absolutely delighted, and even if Lilly keeps her attention focused on her reading material, I can see that smirk on her face. They're both extremely pleased. For a moment, I try to work out what Lily's reading, but the cover looks too faded to read beyond the fact that it has Roman letters on it. A pity I can't read the braille above the printed tile. Well, what are you reading, Lilly? It looks like it's English. That's right. It's And Then There Were None. It's an old British story. I think is that an Agatha Christie novel? I could read it to you if you'd like. She extends the offer with a grin, obviously in jest. I think I'll pass, thanks. After a seemingly endless trip, we reached the land of Satow Summer House. Even after the train trip, the walk seemed to take forever. Despite my grumblings, though, I'd have never guessed the sight would be in store for us once we traveled that long, deserted road. Looks more like a farmhouse than an everyday house. I imagined a small in size, surrounded by trees and bushes. An empty expanse of wheat fields and farming land can be seen as we walk up. The fencing not only consisting of rickety old wooden planks, it really drives home how far we are from major cities, and is a sight that feels antithetical to the environment I grew up in. The only thing that doesn't surprise me is its western styling. That is a pretty western house. Wow, it's amazing out here. It's wonderful. That's nice to hear. While Akira may have said that she kept the house in reasonable conditions, I was worried that we might have different standards of reasonable. It looks like there isn't another soul in miles. I thought Akira would be the type to keep to the city. Lilly furrows her brow in thought, seemingly recalling almost forgotten knowledge. From memory, there's a small town not too far ahead. Other than that, though, this is largely just old farmland. Akira and I stayed out in our parents' house, which was in the nearest city for a while. But after they left, we decided to move into a smaller, more easily maintainable house. To find a house like this in Japan nowadays is kind of anachronistic. Well, this town does have quite a bit of history. And we're going to find out some of that history next time. Guys, stay safe. Have fun. Make sure that the summer home is, is still being kept up. And one of those things is more important than the others. Bye!